She thought she knew him, the man she had given her heart to and the man she had sacrificed her youth for. To everyone around them, they were the perfect couple. He was attentive, charming, and always ready with a smile that could melt away her anger. He spoke about the future, about children, about buying land and building a home together, and for years she believed every word. But behind the sweet promises was a different story. Many years ago, lived a lady named Clarice Bassey, a beautiful, intelligent and loyal young woman in her late 20s. Everyone who knew her admired her because she was the kind of woman who could smile through storms. For nearly 7 years, she had been in a relationship with a man called Roland. He was tall, smooth-talking and carried himself with the quiet confidence of a man who always seemed to know where life was taking him to. To many, he looked like the ideal man. Ambitious, respectful and the kind of man who would never raise his voice in public. Clarice believed she had found her soulmate. They met back in the university when she was struggling with her final year projects. Roland offered to guide her through the research process, and that was how the whole love story started. They have been through the highs and lows, but marriage, that was the only chapter of the story he never seemed ready to write. Every year came with a different excuse. One year, babe, let's don't rush things. Let me stabilize my business first. I don't want us to suffer after marriage. The next year, Clarice, you know my younger siblings are still in school, right? Let me settle them first. Every man must carry his family before starting another, and each time, Clarice would smile through her disappointment and say, I understand, Roland. I will wait. Her friends never understood her patience. At bridal showers, birthday hangouts or random guest gist, they will mock her lovingly. 7 years, Clarice. 7 whole years and no ring? You are practically a wife without certificates. She will laugh and defend him. You people don't know Roland like I do. He is careful and he wants the best for us. When the time is right, it will happen. Even her mother once pulled her aside and said, My daughter, a man who truly wants you doesn't keep you waiting forever. Are you sure this Roland is not playing smart? Clarice silenced her with hope. Mama, I trust him. He loves me and he will soon do the right thing. And truly, Roland was good at showing love, at least the kind that kept her believing. He would surprise her at work with lunch, call her sweet names in public, and even help her younger brother with school fees sometimes. All these things made it impossible for her to doubt him. Yet, beneath his polished smile and calculated kindness, Roland was a man living a double life. One foot in the comfort of Clarice's loyalty and the other foot in the secret world of another woman. Clarice had no idea that the man she had given 7 years of her life to was walking her gently and carefully towards the biggest heartbreak of her existence. One Saturday morning in Uyo, Clarice had decided to treat herself at Bellator's Salon, a popular place for ladies who wanted to keep up with the latest hairstyles. She had just been paid at work and wanted braids that would last her through the month. The salon was buzzing with women exchanging gossip about their husbands and boyfriends. Clarice sank into her chair, minding her business. Her stylist Ngozi wrapped a cape around her shoulders. Madam Clarice, today we go do goddess braids, Abby? She asked with a grin. Clarice chuckled. Yes, so, Ngozi, make me fine, abeg. My man has been complaining that I always tie scarf these days. Ngozi smiled. Don't worry. By the time I finish with you, he won't even recognize you again. Clarice laughed, relaxing into the seat now. To pass time, she reached for one of the fashion magazines stacked on the table in front of her. As she flipped through glossy pages filled with wedding gowns and celebrity news, something slipped out and landed softly on her lap. At first, she didn't pay attention. It looked like a card in a cream-colored envelope decorated with gold letters. She absent-mindedly opened it, expecting it to be a random advert for bridal makeup. Her eyes froze, her heart skipped, and her hands trembled. On the invitation card, boldly written in calligraphy, were the words, "The wedding ceremony of Roland Ekene and Sophia Okon." Clarice blinked hard, thinking she had read wrong. She brought the card closer to her eyes. It was clear. The man she had loved and waited for was getting married to another woman. The date on the card was just 1 week away. Her chest tightened, and for a moment she felt like she should faint. She quickly closed the magazine, hoping no one had seen her reaction. Ngozi noticed her face. "Madam, you sure say you did alright?" Clarice forced a smile, hiding the card in her handbag. "I did fine, Ngozi. Maybe small hunger don't they worry me. Just continue." But inside, her mind was screaming. Her thoughts ran wide. So all the years, all the promises, all the excuses, it was all lies? Roland, how could you? How could you do this to me? The women around her were laughing about wigs and makeup, but Clarice couldn't hear them anymore. It was as if the whole world had gone silent and only the sound of her breaking heart remained. She kept her head down, blinking away tears as Ngozi's hands worked on her hair. On the outside, she looked calm, but in her handbag lay the evidence that her life and her love story had just taken the sharpest and most painful turn. By the time she left the salon that evening, she was no longer the same Clarice Bassey. She had entered as a woman in love, but she left as a woman plotting her next move. She got home and sat on the edge of her bed. Her chest felt heavy, her eyes swollen from tears she didn't even realize she was shedding. She pulled out the card once more and stared at it under the lights. Roland's name glared back at her. Roland Ekene and Sophia Okon. The name Sophia meant nothing to her, but the betrayal behind it sliced through her soul like a sharp knife. Memories flooded her mind, and she didn't know when she said, 7 years. Roland, 7 years of my life, and this is how you pay me back? Her phone buzzed, and I know you guessed right. It was a WhatsApp message from Roland. "Babe, how are you doing? Hope you have eaten something. Don't stress yourself too much, okay? I will try to pass by later in the week." Clarice laughed, a bitter, broken laugh. It was the audacity for her. The man was planning a wedding with another woman, yet he still had the nerves to check up on her like everything was normal. Her hands shook as she typed furiously. "Roland, do you love me at all? After everything, why would you do this to me?" Her finger hovered around the send button, but she stopped. She deleted the message. She realized that confronting him now would only give him the chance to lie again, the way he always did. And so she said to herself, "No, I will keep quiet. I will smile like nothing is wrong, and I will give him enough rope to catch himself." She picked up her pillow, hugged it tightly, and cried into it until her tears soaked through. At that moment, the Clarice who once believed in patient love died. What remained was a woman filled with pain, bitterness, and the dangerous calm that comes before a storm. And in the silence of her room, one thought began to form in her mind. "Roland, you think you are smart? You think you can disgrace me? No, not me. If you want war, then you will have it." The following week, Clarice transformed into an actress worthy of an award. She wore her pain like a secret garment. No one, not even Roland, could tell that she had discovered his betrayal. When Roland called, his voice warm as always, she answered sweetly. "Babe, how are you? I have missed you," he said. Clarice's lips curved into a smile he could not see. "I have missed you too, Roland. When will I see you?" Her tone was soft, gentle like honey dripping from her lips. Yet inside, her heart was boiling with anger. That evening, she cooked his favorite meal, white rice with chicken pepper soup. She even added the fried plantain he loved so much. And when Roland arrived at her apartment, she greeted him warmly, helping him off his jacket as if nothing was wrong. Clarice, you will not kill me with food though, he laughed, digging into the meal. This is why I always say, no one can replace you in this life. Never. Her hand tightened around her spoon, but her face remained calm. It's well, Roland. You need your strength for all your business plans. He smiled, not realizing the double meaning behind her words. As they ate, she studied him closely. Every laugh and every lie that rolled so easily off his tongue. He talked about a supposed business trip he had to make soon, but Clarice knew very well that trip was actually the wedding. When he left that night, kissing her forehead affectionately, she stood at her window and watched his car drive away. Keep playing your game, Roland. Keep thinking you are the smartest man alive. You have no idea what's waiting for you, she whispered. From that moment, she decided she would not confront him directly. Instead, she would wait for the right time to strike, calmly and silently like a snake watching its prey. And until that day came, she would wear her mask of calm. But as the days passed, she couldn't hold it anymore. The weight of betrayal was too heavy to carry alone. She needed someone she could trust, someone who would listen without judgment. And so she dialed the number of her closest friend called Emma. Emma was more than just a friend. She was like a sister. They had known each other since secondary school, and Emma had always been the one person who told Clarice the truth, even when it hurt. When she picked up, her voice was cheerful. Babe, long time. What's going on? You just forgot me, right? Clarice forced a small laugh. No, my sister, I didn't forget you. I need to see you. It's urgent, please. Something in her tone made Emma serious. Is everything okay? Emma, just meeting at our usual spot. You will understand. They met an hour later at the popular Uyo Plaza. Emma arrived in a hurry, dropping her handbag on the chair. Clarice, you were scaring me. Talk to me. What happened? Clarice reached into her handbag and pulled out the cream-colored wedding invitation. Her hand shook as she slid it across. Read it. Emma frowned, picked up the card and read it aloud. The wedding ceremony of Roland Ekene and Sophia Okon. Her eyes widened, then dated back to Clarice. Jesus Christ. Roland? I mean, you're Roland? Clarice nodded slowly, tears brimming in her eyes. Yes, my Roland. The man I've been with for 7 years. The same man I have been waiting for. Emma slammed the card, drawing the attention of a few people. This man is mad. After all your years and after all your sacrifices, he planned another wedding behind your back? Clarice's voice trembled. The wedding is in a few days, Emma. Do you know what that means? All those nights I stayed awake helping him. All the money I borrowed to support his business when he experienced his major crash. All the 7 years are in vain. She broke down with tears. Emma reached for her hand, squeezing it firmly. Clarice, listen to me. You don't need to fight him. Walk away. Let him marry her. His day of disgrace will come, and God will fight for you. Clarice shook her head violently, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. Her voice was low, cold, and frighteningly calm. No, Emma. I am not leaving him to God. This man thinks he is smart. He thinks he can waste my life and move on like nothing happened. He must pay. Emma, I promise he will pay. Emma leaned back, staring at her with wide eyes. Clarice, my friend, please don't do anything you will regret. Don't let this man drag you into darkness. You are better than this. But Clarice's face had already changed. The softness that once defined her was gone. In its place was a fire that burned with rage. She leaned closer, her voice a whisper that carried the weight of vengeance. You don't understand, Emma. He won't get away with this. I will make sure his disgrace is greater than my pain. Emma wanted to protest, but the look in Clarice's eyes silenced her. It was the look of a woman who had crossed a line she could never return from. Meanwhile, Roland was busy, smiling proudly as he walked through the intending hall. He nodded in satisfaction, whispering to his best man Victor, "Tomorrow will be perfect, my guy. Sophia deserves the best, and I will give it to her." Victor chuckled, slapping his back. "But Roland, you did brave. You really planned all this without Clarice suspecting? Now stronger you get, I no feel lie." Roland smirked, his confidence unshaken. "Clarice is loyal. I mean too loyal. She trusts me too much to ever doubt me. By the time she realizes I will already be married, she will cry small and then move on. After all, women always move on." He said it with the arrogance of a man who thought he had outsmarted the world. At the bride's family's house, Sophia Oko was in full excitement. Her mother beamed. "My daughter, tomorrow you will become Mrs. Roland. All eyes will be on you. Ah, God has blessed us indeed." Sophia blushed, dreaming of her new life. To her, Roland was the perfect man. Hardworking, charming and ready to provide. She had no idea the man she was marrying was already someone else's nightmare. That night, Clarice sat quietly on her bed. She wasn't crying anymore. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with silent fire. She was writing in a small book, scribbling names and numbers and making quiet arrangements. Her cousin Edidion knocked on her door. "Cursing, are you sure about this thing you are planning? You know this could get messy." Clarice looked up, her voice low but firm. "Edidion, he made me waste 7 years of my life. 7 good years. I will not sit back and watch him walk another woman down the aisle like I never existed. Tomorrow, he will not say I do, not while I am alive." Edidion swallowed hard, realizing she was not going to change her mind. And worst of it all, Roland's message came in. "Babe, sorry I have been busy. I will try to pass by tonight just to check up on you before my trip tomorrow." Clarice stared at the message and smiled to herself, a cruel smile. Good, she thought. Come, Roland, come to me tonight. You think you are deceiving me, but tonight you will fall into the trap you built for yourself. She turned to Edidion. Get the place ready. Tomorrow will never come for this wedding. Night fell and the street buzzed with nightlife. Clarice sat by the window and her mind was sharp and restless. On the table lay 2 glasses, a bottle of wine and a small sachet of white powder Edidion had sourced earlier. Her phone buzzed. It was still Roland. Babe, I am outside. Clarice smoothed her hair, took a deep breath and plastered a smile on her face. She opened the door to see him standing there, handsome as ever, dressed casually and carrying that same charming grin that once melted her heart. Clarice, my love, Roland said, stepping in and kissing her cheek. Sorry, I have been busy. I just didn't want to travel tomorrow without seeing you first. You know you are still my number one. Clarice's stomach turned at his words. Number one? The man was planning to marry another woman in less than 24 hours. Yet he stood here lying with confidence. You don't need to apologize, she replied sweetly, closing the door behind him. I understand you are a busy man. He dropped into the couch, stretching his legs. Ah, I am tired, but when I saw you, my strength came back. Clarice forced a laugh. She walked to the table, picked up the wine and poured into 2 glasses. As she did, her hand trembled slightly, but her face stayed calm. She slipped the powder into his glass, stirring it carefully. She turned back and handed him the drink with a smile. To us and to our future, Roland chuckled, raising his glass. To us indeed. He sipped deeply, smacking his lips. Ah, you know how to pick good wine, my darling. Clarice sat across from him, sipping hers lightly, her eyes never leaving his face. They talked casually about work, about family, and about little nothings. All the while, Clarice studied him like a predator watching its prey. After 20 minutes, Roland's eyes began to droop. He rubbed his forehead. Clarice, I don't know why, but I suddenly feel very dizzy. She leaned forward and said, You should rest, Roland. Tomorrow is your big day, isn't it? His eyes widened in confusion. Big day? What do you mean? But before he could say more, his body slumped sideways on the couch. Clarice stood slowly. She whispered to herself, You thought you were clever, but tonight, Roland, you have walked into your own prison. Within minutes, Edidium arrived. Together, they lifted his unconscious body into the backseat of Edidium's Toyota. They drove in silence, the night covering their crime, until they reached Edidium's house in the outskirts of town. They carried Roland inside, laid him on the mattress in the spare room, and locked the door from the outside. Clarice stood over him for a moment, her arms folded. Tomorrow, they will gather for your wedding, sir. The bride will wait in her gown, but you, Roland. She paused, her lips curling into a bitter smile. You will be here with me. The next day, the sun rose beautifully, and for most people in New York, it was just another weekend. But for the Okun's family, it was supposed to be the most important day of their daughter's life. By 7 a.m., the bride's house was a big heap of activity. Makeup artists were setting up their kits, decorators fussed over flower arrangements, and photographers tested their cameras. Sophia sat on a chair in her room, her white gown hanging by the wardrobe and her heart pounding with excitement. Her best friend leaned closer, whispering, You are finally becoming Mrs. Roland. Wow, I am so happy for you, Ufami. Sophia blushed shyly. I can't wait to see him at the altar. Downstairs, her father was already making calls, ensuring every guest was attended to. Nothing must go wrong today. This wedding must be perfect, he declared. But by 9 a.m., a strange tension began to creep in. The best man, Victor, was pacing with his phone glued to his ear. Pick up, Roland. Pick up, he muttered, redialing furiously. The groom's phone rang and rang. Then it went off. Victor tried again by 10 a.m. but was still off. He wrote quickly to Sophia's father as they were now in church. Sir, I can't reach Roland. Maybe he's on his way. Sophia's father frowned. On his way? By this time? He was supposed to be here already. Guests had arrived. Cars filled the compound. Music floated in the air, but the one person who mattered most, the groom, was nowhere to be seen. Sophia's smile began to fade in the car. She glanced curiously at Victor, who avoided her eyes. Victor, have you heard from Roland? Where is he? Victor stammered. He should be close. Maybe traffic. Don't lie to me, Sophia snapped, tears welling up in her eyes. Where is Roland? Meanwhile, whispered had started inside. Guests exchanged glances, muttering. Did the groom run away? Maybe he changed his mind. God forbid, on the wedding day? By noon, the whispers had turned into loud gossip. Phones were out and social media posts were flying up and down. Some guests began to eat the food meant for the reception, while others, frustrated, started leaving. Sophia's makeup was smeared by tears. Her voice was shaking. Why would he do this to me? But why? Her mother hugged her tightly, but even she could not hide the fear in her eyes. At the same time, far away in a detailed secluded house, Roland slowly stirred awake. He sat up grudgingly with his head pounded, only to realize his hands were bound. His eyes widened in shock when he saw Clarice standing calmly in the corner. "Good day, Roland. Did you sleep well? Your bride must be waiting," she said. Roland's heart sank. He blinked rapidly, trying to make sense of his surroundings. He tried to move, but his body was still heavy from the drug. "Clarice," his voice cracked. "What is this? Why am I here? What are you doing?" She laughed. "Oh, Roland, you should be at the church right now, standing at the altar, but instead you are here with me. Poetic, isn't it?" Roland's eyes widened. His throat went dry. "Oh my God, you know?" Clarice laughed, not out of joy but bitterness. "No?" "Roland, yes, I know everything. I know about Sophia. I know about the wedding you planned behind my back, and I also know about every single lie you have fed me with for a good 7 years." He shook his head frantically. "Clarice, listen, it's not what you think." "Don't you dare," she snapped, her voice sharp. "Don't you dare try to lie to me again. I carried your burdens. Roland, I lent you money when things went haywire and when your business collapsed. I wasted 7 years of my life waiting for you to make me your wife, and what did I get? An invitation card hidden in a Salon magazine." Her voice broke, and for a moment tears welled in her eyes, but she quickly wiped them, regaining her coldness. Roland bowed his head with shame burning his face. "Clarice, please, forgive me. I didn't know how to tell you. You are a good woman, but Sophia's family." "Sophia's family?" Clarice cut in, laughing bitterly. "So I was just a stepping stone, right? A placeholder while you prepared your perfect marriage?" He tried again, desperation creeping into his tone. "Please, let me go. We can talk about this later." "The wedding." "There will be no wedding," Clarice said coldly, standing up and moving closer. "Not until you pay me for the years you wasted." Roland blinked, confused. "Pay you?" "Yes, Roland. You will pay me real money as compensation. You think you can waste 7 years of a woman's life and walk away freely? No. If you want your freedom, you will pay for it, a huge sum, enough for me to rebuild my life from the ashes you left me in." Roland swallowed hard. "Clarice, please, I don't have." She leaned in, her voice low but deadly. "Don't test me, Roland. You and I both know the kind of money you have been hiding. Transfer it right here and right now, or sit here tied up while your bride and her family drown in shame." Roland's heart pounded. He knew she wasn't bluffing. He closed his eyes, sweat dripping down his forehead, and whispered, "Fine, I will pay. How much?" Clarice stepped back slowly. A grin of satisfaction was on her face. "Listen, I want everything that you have saved." She turned on his phone, and a dozens of missed calls and messages flooded in. "Oga, I know the amount, so don't you ever play smart." Roland's hands shook as he typed in Clarice's account number. He entered the amount, his thumb hovered around the send button. Clarice leaned in, her eyes piercing. "Do it!" With a trembling sigh, Roland tapped the button. A notification beeped. Money sent. Clarice's phone buzzed with the alerts. She glanced at the screen and smiled bitterly. Good. Now that you have paid for my 7 wasted years, you can go to hell for all I care. Back at the church, tension exploded. Sophia's father stomped to the altar and grabbed the microphone. His voice thundered through the speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so sorry for how the groom had disgraced us today, but I will see to the end of this, I promise. Gasps filled the hall. Some guests covered their mouths in shock. Others laughed cruelly. Sophia collapsed in her mother's arms, wailing uncontrollably. Why me, Mama? Why me? Ushers tried to calm the guests, but it was too late. People began leaving in groups, shaking their heads. What was meant to be a day of joy ended up in shame. Hours later, when the humiliation was complete, Clarice untied Roland and shoved him towards the door, making sure she was protected. He staggered out, broken and humiliated. His name was ruined. His pride was gone and his wedding was ashes. Clarice stood in the doorway watching him. Her voice was calm, but her words cut deep. Now, you know what it feels like to lose everything in one day. In the weeks that followed, Sophia's family publicly denounced Roland because the news of what actually happened was everywhere. Clarice, on the other hand, used the money to open her own boutique. She furnished a new apartment, bought herself a car, and started building independence. To the world, she looked like a woman who had triumphed, but inside, her heart remained broken. She never healed. Instead, she hardened. She began giving fairy talks to women. Never trust a man. That son of Adam will stain your whites. Many women cheered her, nodding in agreement, quoting her words on social media. She became a voice and a movement, but only she knew that every speech came from bitterness and nothing more. Years passed. Her business flourished. She became a woman admired in town. Independent, confident and outspoken. She thought she had moved on until a gentle soul walked into her life. His name was Effion. Unlike Roland, Effion was simple, grounded and honest. He was a civil engineer who had just moved back to U after working abroad. He met Clarice by chance when he came to her boutique to buy gifts for his sisters. There was something about his warmth that disarmed her. He didn't flatter her excessively and he didn't boast about money. He simply listened, smiled and treated her with quiet respect. He asked her out, and though she hesitated at first, she agreed. In the beginning, Effion gave her the kind of love she had prayed for all her life. He called her consistently, showed up when he said he would, prayed with her and even helped elevate her business. But Clarice's heart had become a fortress. Whenever Effion tried to draw closer, she pulled away. If he said, I love you, she replied with a shrug. If he bought her gifts, she waved them off as unnecessary. And when he tried to plan a future, she changed the subject. One evening, Effion confronted her gently. Clarice, I am not your ex. I am not here to hurt you, so why won't you let me in? Her eyes welled with tears, but she whispered bitterly, Men? You people will always say that. You will love me today and betray me tomorrow. Sorry, I can't give my all again. I won't, because I don't want my whites to be stained. Effion sighed, holding her hand. You are still bleeding. Clarice, you are still much bleeding, and until you heal, no man's love will feel safe to you. Despite her resistance, he stayed. He married her 2 years later, believing his patience would eventually break down her walls. But even in marriage, Clarice struggled. She withheld her affection, questioned his every move, and sometimes accused him unfairly. When he traveled for work, she panicked, convinced he was with another woman. When he showed her love, she doubted it, waiting for the betrayal she believed must come. Effion bore it all with patience. He prayed. He counseled her. He tried to remind her that not all men were like Roland, but her healing was painfully slow because deep down, she refused to let go. So Soon, the marriage began to shake. Arguments replaced laughter. Silence replaced intimacy, and Clarice felt the ground slipping beneath her feet. One night, after a heated quarrel, Effiong packed his bag halfway. His voice broke as he said, "Clarice, I love you, but I cannot keep paying the price for another man's sin. I married you, not your pain. Decide what you want, me or your bitterness." Those words pierced her like a sword. For the first time, she realized that Roland had stolen 7 years of her life, but she was allowing him to keep stealing more through her own unwillingness to heal. That night, she wept like a child. On her knees, she prayed for the first time in years, asking God to help her release the past. She began therapy. She read books. She listened to mentors, and slowly, the walls around her heart began to fall. Years later, she could finally look at Effiong, her husband, and smile without suspicion. She laughed again, held his hand without fear, and spoke about the future with hope. Her boutique expanded into a fashion house. She began speaking, not just from pain but from wisdom, teaching women not only to guide their hearts but also to heal, to let go, and to embrace love again. One day, Clarice stood before a crowd of young women. She shared her story openly, her betrayal, the revenge, the bitterness, and the slow healing. She concluded with these words, "My sisters, heartbreak is not the end of your story. Don't let pain turn you into what you hate. I almost lost a good man because I refused to heal, but God gave me a second chance. Heal, forgive, and live, because true love still exists." And as she walked off the stage, she saw Effiong waiting at the back, smiling proudly. She smiled back, knowing that at last, her story had found its redemption. Hey African Tales by Tama Tribe, how are you all doing? For me, I am doing just fine. I hope you enjoyed the story as much as I did. Before I leave today, I would like to say this. We humans are product of our environment and our experiences. Nobody just wakes up one day bitter, suspicious, or hard. Life, betrayal, heartbreak, amongst others, they shape people into what they become. But here's the mistake many people make. After heartbreak, they will say, "I have let go and I have moved on." But in reality, they are still bleeding inside. Healing is not by mere words. Healing is work. If you have been heartbroken, don't just cover the wound with a smile. Please seek help. Pray. Talk to mentors. Go for counseling and do the inner work to truly let go. And if you are in a relationship today but treating your partner like your ex who hurts you, punishing the innocent for the sins of the guilty, you are simply destroying what God gave you. So stop it. That man or woman is not your past. Don't let yesterday poison your tomorrow. Let me even say this one very loud and clear. If you are in a relationship for 2 years and there is no headway, I mean no introduction, no replans, and no steps forward, my dear, dust your slippers and leave. A relationship is not an endurance trek or a cross-country check. So don't waste your destiny waiting for someone who is only wasting your time. Love should lead to growth, to commitment, and to something real. If after 2 years it is still excuses, then I can tell you that you are sitting on a time bomb. Your time is precious, so don't waste it. Share your thoughts with me in the comment section. If you have not subscribed to this channel, I beg you in the name of God to punch on the subscribe button. And please don't forget to give the story a thumbs up and use the share button to share out to your loved ones. Until I bring another interesting story your way, it's a goodbye from here, and God bless you.